Barney with Russell Real Estate, and today I'm going to make a quick video because I am actually hosting a home buying seminar this evening. And in case I need this video, I figured I would shoot it. That way we could potentially play it during the seminar. So this right here is just showing you that as far as the map area that we're selecting, it's going to be from my browser location here in Strongsville. We'll run the numbers for a 25-mile search radius, and just to show you what that encompasses, because this is the main area that I serve here. So you'll see I have the northeast portion of Lorain County. I have basically all of Cuyahoga County, northwest portion of Summit, and then all of Medina County as well. I have gone into Wayne County, I've gone into Lake and Geauga and stuff like that as well, but this is the main area that I serve. So, with that being said, the next thing that we're going to do, let's actually run some numbers and we'll do months of inventory. This is a statistic that shows basically how many houses are available for sale versus how many buyers there are. And essentially what you would want to see as far as a balanced market would be about 5 to 6 months of inventory, meaning that the buyer doesn't necessarily have an advantage, the seller doesn't necessarily have an advantage. As you could see here, within that 25-mile radius of where I live, basically what we're seeing is that inventory is still very, very low. So it's still a very competitive market out there, despite demand really getting hit hard with higher interest rates over the past year, almost year and a half now. As interest rates really shot up in 2022, you could see that, we finally started to crack 2 months of inventory, and we even hit 3 months of inventory here in January of 2023, but that's dropped back down. And that's also pretty common, just seasonally. Yes, there are more listings that come up in the late spring and then peak in the summertime, but there's also more buyers that are looking. So you usually do see inventory drop down just a hair as we're starting to approach the end of spring. So yeah, right now you're basically seeing, okay, the market isn't quite as much in the seller's favor as it was in 2021 and 2022, but it still is a seller's market, unfortunately, for a lot of buyers there. But nothing compared to what we were looking at in years past. The other thing that I wanted to show you was the average. We'll go, actually, the median days on market. For days on market, I don't like to do average as much because you'll have some houses that have essentially been listed for 3 years that are drawing that average up. So I like to do the median, which is the middle point, and that gives us a good idea of how quickly houses are moving. So again, within that 25-mile radius of northwest Strongsville, we're looking, and houses are moving about a week slower than they were last year, maybe a hair more than that. So again, historically speaking, this is still very quick, 29 days for average days on market, or I'm sorry, median days on market in March is the third lowest in the past 10 years. It's just that the first and second lowest happened to be in 2022 and 2021. So it still is a very fast moving market. And I can tell you honestly that a lot of houses, if they're in decent neighborhoods and they're priced okay, we are still seeing multiple offers. So again, this median number, that's just the middle point. So say there's 1,000 houses listed. That's the 500th house basically. And okay, how quickly did that first 500, or how quickly did that house go under contract? Well, 499 went under contract in less time than that, and then another 499 went under contract in more time than that. So that's basically what we're looking at right there. But yeah, usually houses are still selling for close to asking, which actually let's do that one next. Let's do uh, close price to list price. So when you're looking at a house on Zillow or Realtor.com or anything like that, you're looking at the asking price from the seller. You could see that basically, you know, since it really started ramping up in COVID, June of 2020, houses on average have sold basically exactly where they were asking. And some of those will be much higher. It's actually a little surprising to see that some of these are only at 100% because we did see so many bidding wars in 2020 and 2021. But again, you have to take into account that some houses that sold for 30,000 over asking, you also might have had some houses sell for 30,000 under asking. So it kind of balances out to where everything is on average selling for 100%. And that's basically been the case here. We started seeing prices dip a little bit and more leverage go to the buyers, especially December, January, February of this year. um, so that was encouraging, but again, we're starting to see as the spring, home buying season ticks up, there's going to be more buyers. There's still not much inventory or houses available for sale, and as a result, you're basically paying pretty close to asking here on average, and that once again has not been the case historically speaking when we go back 10 years. And then I mean, I'll give this information to you just so you could see it, but really each area is going to be hyper local. So you have your list price average, and now we're up to $268,000. By the way, this is why I like to use this as an example for why real estate will help you build wealth. Basically, as inflation occurs, the real way to think of it is that the dollar is actually being devalued at that point. So it's going to take more of those dollars to buy the same thing. And we don't have to think of it in terms of housing. We could think of it in terms of stuff that we use every day, like gas or milk or eggs. Depending on how old you are, you may remember a time where gas was less than $1 per gallon, and now we're looking at 360 or whatever it is. Same thing with your gallon of milk. Same thing with your eggs. The prices of things go up over time, and that's basically because there's more money in circulation and there's a higher supply of money, so it's going to require more dollars for the same amount of goods or services. So you could see the average list price, and I did list price, let's do sales price. The average sales price, go on, here, $231,000. That actually is down a little compared to last year in this 25-mile radius. But if you say you bought that house 10 years ago in March, okay, well, you just added $100,000 to your net worth, and that doesn't include if are obviously paying down the principal every time you're making a mortgage payment. You actually can have tax write-offs having a mortgage on your interests and different things like that. There's so many different benefits that you can have. You can force appreciation by making your house better if you bought below market value. So there's a lot of ways that you can add to your net worth just by being a homeowner, because ultimately, if you're renting, you're paying money, pretty close to the equivalent of a mortgage payment every single month. Anyways, so you might as well be paying that towards your own principal then and building your own net worth. So that's basically what we're looking at right here. If you have any questions on the market, let me know. The one little caveat that I would have for anybody, when you're looking at those statistics, is again, everything's going to be hyper local. Um, your areas that you're going to see, higher priced homes, like your, Westlake, your Bay Village, Strongsville, going around, that's still lumped in. Those numbers are still lumped in with what you're seeing over here in Huff, in East Cleveland. These are all still areas that it's taking into consideration there. So something to keep in mind. If you want specific information about the city that you're interested in, let me know. Otherwise, have a great day.